Hey, what's going on, comic fans? Mr. Q Comics. I got part two of my $2 haul video that I just did with mostly DC. This lot here is all the Marvel stuff I grabbed from these $2 bins. I realized I had a couple of books that were non-Marvel as well. So again, this was just my local shop putting out a whole bunch of boxes, stuff they had got with a new collection that was in really pristine shape, and just they were just bringing out a bunch of back stock and just filling up this $2 bin. So I cherry picked a ton of titles using the Key Collector app. I went through pretty much all the major series I could think of. So let's get to it. First thing I grabbed was this Avengers 239, which is just a cool David Letterman cover here. It's got the Marvel checkers at the top, reminiscent of the old DC checker box. I think this has something to do with the Return of Phoenix as well. I saw Reggie Collects talking to someone about this a week or two ago. I think it was this issue anyways, but it's a cool cover. It's got Letterman and Paul Schaefer, classic 80s stuff here. So, all right, for more Avengers, this is definitely a great book. I was super psyched to find for $2. New Avengers number 11. Which is pretty hot. This is in great shape. First appearance of Ronin. Shocked they have that in there, but psyched for that. I haven't been able to find a copy. So I was really surprised to find that. 2 copies of this. West Coast Avengers number 45. Super cool cover. This is the first appearance of the colorless or white Vision costume. Obviously an homage to, I'm drawing a blank on his first appearance in the Avengers. But again, we're both really great shape. This one's got this weird, I don't know if it'll zoom in. It's got this scalloping effect around the edges, which I assume is from the machines cutting it. I've seen it on a few issues. I see it on Spider-Man 300 quite a bit. I have no idea how that affects grade. I'm curious if anyone knows, because I have no idea how to grade that. The other one is super clean on the edges. So, really weird. Both direct edition as well. So, anyways, $2 for those. Real happy for those. They had 46 in there, which is the first appearance of the Great Lake Avengers. You know, minor key issue. And like I said, I picked out a whole bunch of other stuff as well. All the minor key stuff I find on Key Collector's app, because they're high. These were all pretty much high grade, at least very fine, if not better. So, love this. Captain America Special Edition number 2. Great Jim Steranko cover. It's an homage to the original. I think it's Captain America. I think it's 113. I think that's what it is. I can't remember. Pretty sure it's 113. But still cool cover. Even have the reprinted version. Daredevil 69. Just some early Bronze Age. Bad shape. But again, for $2, I'm going to grab silver and bronze, early bronze all the time. Dazzler number 1. This is just her first standalone series. So cool Bronze Age stuff. Eternals number 1, newsstand copy. This is just the 12-part, the 85 miniseries. I just dig these Marvel 80s miniseries. I don't think there's a ton of value to these Eternal books. I think I grabbed 3 or 4 issues he had. He had like the Squadron Supreme miniseries as well in there. You know, the Beauty and the Beast. There's just so many of those 80s Marvel series. I don't think this one commands much, but I thought it was cool with the rumors of the movie. You never know, so I've been grabbing these out of dollar bins when I can and trying to put together a whole run. All right, so let me get another stack here. All right, some Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four 257. That's a pretty cool Galactus cover. I like that a lot. This has got a whole bunch of stuff listed on the Key Collector app. Destruction of Tarnax, the Skull Throne World, and the death of Skrull Princess Anel, and death of Empress something or other that I'm not even going to bother to try and pronounce. And I grabbed 272 as well, which is the first Nathaniel Richards. He had a lot of Bronze Age Iron Man. This is the first appearance of, I think it's Obadiah Stone, who becomes Ironmonger later. I think I have a couple copies of this, but this is, you know, most of the stuff, minor keys, readily available. This one's a little pricier, $169. I dig this cover. I dig this run of Iron Man. I think this is around the time of the Demon in the Bottle series. I think I could be wrong, but this is the first. This is Rhodey becomes Iron Man, And I think that happens in 2 issues, and I'm drawing a blank if it's 169 and 170 or 168 and 169. I think it's 169 and 170, because I think there's one where he's on the cover and he's putting the helmet on, but his face is silhouetted. But that was cool to find. I've got multiple of this. So this is 200, first appearance of Ironmonger, who we saw the, Obadiah Stone in 163 there. And I think it's also, I think it's the debut of that Silver Centurion armor. I know it's a lot of minor keys with Iron Man armors getting unveiled. 225, which I think this is the start of the Iron Wars storyline. Okay, and I grabbed, this is an interesting book, the Marvel Fumetti book. With Stan Lee on the cover. It's kind of like got all the Marvel staff inside, portrayed as like, as their own comic book. I have a ton of these, actually. I bought a collection a couple years ago of a couple thousand books for less than like $200, and ended up finding a stack of these bound together like newspapers, like 40 copies, and all in pretty good shape except for the fact that they were bound together with twine. I sold off some of them, but I probably still have like 30 of them left in really good shape. I think they'd all grade out really, really high if I got impressed, but I just have so many of them. But for $2, I grabbed another copy. It's interesting. I think it's a funny Stan Lee cover. So. Okay, and I got a whole bunch of Marvel Team Up. I was surprised. This was stuff, didn't come in with his new collection. I think he was just, again, grabbing backstock, sitting in the back room trying to clear out space because they had a bunch more new collections coming in. So Marvel Team Up 48. I just like the Spider-Man and Iron Man cover here. Pretty cool. I can't remember if there's anything significant with this one. First appearance of the Wraith, I think. I was surprised he had this. Marvel Team Up 65, which is the first appearance of Captain Britain in the U.S. He's got this in his regular back issue bins for like $12 or something, so I grabbed the copy that he had for $2, of course. He had 66 as well, which is the second appearance of Captain Britain, the first full appearance of Arcade, and the first Murder World. So that was definitely cool to find. And a couple copies of Marvel Team Up 100. One's pretty beat up. One's in really nice shape. High VF, if not better. And I can't remember what this one is. First appearance of Karma, I think, is the first gay female character in Marvel. And I think it's the first time Storm and Black Panther are in the same comic. It's like a flashback or something like that. But pretty cool book. This one, definitely cool to find. I got it before the announcement, but this is 103. I think it's the second full appearance of the Taskmaster. So minor key, but I would expect it's going to be going for a little bit more with the announcement of him being in the Black Widow movie. Copy of 117. This one's really beat up. I just like this Spider-Man Wolverine cover. And I don't know, this is the first appearance of Professor Power as well. I have no idea who that is, but I always like this for the Wolverine Spidey cover. Two of my favorites, even though the Wolverine proportions are a little odd. But this was one I got my second time around or third time around. I had missed. It's just, again, minor key. First appearance of the White Rabbit. I have no idea who that is, but dig the black background. It's in pretty good shape too. 137. So this one's just kind of funny, a little goofy. First appearance of Golden Oldie, which is Aunt May as Galactus's herald. I guessing like some sort of dream that Peter has, some sort of fever dream where she's traveling the universe with Nathaniel Richards, something oddball like that. But I thought that was a pretty funny cover, and I always pick up anything related to Spidey. So, and I picked up the last issue as well. I think I got 2 copies. This was the better one. I'm pretty sure that's Barry Windsor Smith there on the cover. Looks like his style anyways. So, all right, this is another book I find quite a bit. I'm surprised in dollar bins, and people pick it up for quite a bit of money on eBay. $15 to $20, pretty easy. New Mutants number 14. So this is the first time, first appearance of Ileana Rasputin as Magic. This is probably one I always look for this. I found it 5 or 6 times at the same shop for $1. It's kind of odd, but definitely glad to have another copy. This I just grabbed for a cool Bronze Age #1. Oh man, I remember. Who doesn't remember Planet of the Apes? Charlton Heston. Always these movies always creep me out as a kid. I don't know why. They just totally creep me out, but I thought that was a pretty cool cover. I dig the Bronze Age artwork too. So again, just grabbed it because it was a Bronze Age #1. This I grabbed because child of the 80s, Police Academy #1. I had to grab this. I loved these movies as a kid. Steve Guttenberg. Yeah, just goofy 80s stuff. But I definitely wanted that. Anything from the 80s, anything that reminds me of 80s pop culture, I will grab all the time. He had some Power Man and Iron Fist books as well. 100, which is the origin of, oh man, Kunlun. I have no idea how to say it, but that's a pretty cool painted looking cover as well. And we got 125, which is the final issue of the run. So again, minor keys, but for $2, I will definitely grab this stuff. Picked up some ROM, which I don't usually buy. ROM 17, just because I thought it was a cool cover. Dig the X-Men crossover, direct and newsstand edition. And this is also the first hybrid. Okay. Get another stack here. Okay, I picked up some more. Again, I buy this series every time I find it cheap. Secret Wars. We got 2. We got 2 copies of 4. Not in too bad a shape. Most of them very fine. This one's really not in great shape, but I just stockpile these things. Number 6, first cameo of Julia Carpenter, Spider-Woman. I think the second Spider-Woman. And number 12. And pretty decent shape for all of them. So again, for $1 to $2, I'm going to buy this original, not Secret Wars 2, but the first Secret Wars. I will buy that all day long. A couple copies of Spectacular Spider-Man 147. I'm drawing a blank. I'm pretty sure it's Tombstone. First appearance of Tombstone. I got notes written down here, but I'm not too organized here. Pretty sure it's the first appearance of Tombstone. It's someone's first appearance anyways. So this, I just love the cover. Web 38. Love the Hobgoblin. Always have. Probably my favorite villain, and I thought that was just a great cover. So that's 38. I grabbed 48, which is, I think I mentioned this before in another video. So this is the Demogoblin, or the Demi. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. It's spelled Demogoblin. So this is this guy used to be, the guy with the pumpkin on his head. Jack-o'-lantern? I'm drawing a blank. Ends up taking over the mantle of Hobgoblin, and in the Inferno series, ends up merging with an actual demon. I thought that was a great cover as well. So Hobgoblin actually becomes a goblin, which I thought was cool as a kid. So glad to find that. This was cool. I had never seen this before. I had to grab it with, the Fantastic Four movies on the horizon. So this is superhero or supervillain classics, Galactus: The Origin #1. A newsstand copy, which I guess is actually the origin of Galactus. I just thought it was a cool Galactus cover when I grabbed it. I had never seen it before, but super cool. It's the only book in this supervillain classics. It's like a standalone one-shot, I guess. So that's pretty neat. Again, back to the 80s stuff. Any children of the 80s going to remember this series, Visionaries, the toys anyways. I only had a couple, but I love these. The Star Comics line from Marvel that did all of those 80s toys / cartoon lines as comics. So if I find the #1 issues, I buy them. I'm not buying like the whole runs of them, except for maybe like G.I. Joe and Transformers, but cool stuff. Yeah, they had a lot of stuff like the 80s movies that would come out that they turn into comics. I just, sucker for the 80s pop culture. So, all right, last little stack. We got X Factor number 19. I think it's the second cover appearance of Apocalypse. Pretty sure that's what it is. Maybe the first appearance of the Four Horsemen as well. This is one of the ones, I get it as a second cover of Apocalypse. That's what's on Key Collector. I think on eBay you see it listed with some different stuff. 23, so the first cameo of the Archangel. He doesn't have 24 in the bins. He did pull that one. That one's up on the wall, but I'm not spending 25 bucks on that book. I've found it pretty cheap pretty often. Same with this one. I find in dollar bins quite a bit. X-Men number 4. Awesome Jim Lee cover. Man, I just love Jim Lee from this time frame. This is my favorite Jim Lee art in the 90s. When he was doing Uncanny X-Men and X-Men, this whatever, volume 2, whatever you call it. Still love Jim Lee's art, but man, I think this is much better quality, I think anyways, than the modern stuff. He does a lot of cool covers now, but I just doesn't seem as detailed. Or maybe it's just because there's so many more people doing amazing artwork and he stood out so much more. But love that cover, First Omega Red. Great stuff. These were random ones I didn't even know much about. X-Force number 116. I guess first team appearance is Static X. I don't even know who that is. All right, there were a couple of Image Wildstorm mixed in. I just thought this was a cool cover. Ethan Van Sciver. I had never seen that before, but I saw that. I was like, oh, wow, that's super cool. I don't even know who that character is. I never read What Works from Image when it came out. Got to grab McFarlane covers. Can't remember this character's name. I think he's from the Wildcats team. I don't remember. I really did not read a lot of that stuff, but cool McFarlane cover, so I grabbed it. All right, that's it for the $2 books. I did pick up some other stuff as well that was relatively cheap. I can't remember. I think these were under 10 bucks. Spider-Man 293. I love this. Mike Zeck art. The Kraven's Last Hunt series. Awesome. 293 and 294. Both in pretty good shape. So happy to find those. I want to say they were like $5, $8 maybe. So, you know, I think if you look hard enough, you can find them cheaper than that, but they were in pretty good shape, so I grabbed them. 328, awesome McFarlane cover. Looks like he's punching the Hulk in the nuts. I think it's hysterical. Hulk doesn't seem to be bothered by that either, but cool McFarlane cover. All right, and then really these are the first books I grabbed when he did the sale because he put a lot of it up on the wall. So I went in for a few wall books. And I have all of these, but I got 2 copies of Marvel Team Up 141, a newsstand, and a direct. Both pretty good shape. I don't think they're near mint. Probably very fine. They got a couple little spine ticks and stuff. This one's got some sort of weird stain. I feel like it could be cleaned off, but I want to say they're like 25 bucks each, which, you know, not dirt cheap, but still, for these books, I was happy at 25 bucks a pop for those. So those are cool. I grabbed this because it was super, super high grade. I'm definitely going to get this slabbed. I have it. I've come across this many, many, many times. Uncanny X-Men 244, the first Jubilee. This one is just pristine. I mean, it's got a tiny stacking bend going on. I'm sure that can be pressed out easily. I think this is probably a 9.8. I feel like it. I don't really know what I'm talking about with grading. So fingers crossed. I'll probably get both of them graded because the other one I have is high grade as well. One of these days when I actually want to spend money on grading instead of books. And finally, another copy of Amazing Spider-Man 252. So tied for, I guess, Team Up 141 with the first black costume. This is probably my least favorite of all of them in terms of the cover. The colors are just kind of meh. It's a newsstand copy, and I'm pretty sure it's an upgrade for me. I have another copy that I traded some GameCube games for when I first got back into collecting. This guy had like 150 books, mostly Spider-Man with a lot of keys, and I traded them like 7 Nintendo games for it. So anyways, this was a good upgrade. This was not cheap, but Spider-Man keys, I will buy them when they're there. So love it. Good stuff. That is it. I got some other hauls I'm going to be working on the next couple days, so I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, please like and subscribe. Leave some comments below if you got any answers to my questions or any comments, or if I screwed anything up. If I listed anything wrong, you know, feel free, please correct me. I love getting the info from the community. So thanks a lot, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, happy hunting. Take it easy.